as well as kids that are still on board steamships as engineers and deck officers and the like. So our field is certainly broadened. What you're probably aware that Maine Maritime Academy established a tug and barge program a long time ago. It's 25 years ago, and that was acknowledging that there was that maritime jobs were evolving, and that there was an opportunity for us. One step further, we've recently met with folks from Ingram Barge, and they've helped us realize that there are reasons for us to modify that program even further. There are other kinds of things that training that folks need when they get out into that brown water fleet, that we can do here to make to make our product. I know that's a dehumanizing way to say it, but to make our product even better, to better prepare our students for that world. I've had conversations with Tom Crowley about the reality of the culture that exists out there. I mean, it is a safety-driven culture, and so we incorporate that notion in everything that we do here, because that's the reality in the industry. Sea River was here a couple of years ago, the president, to talk to our kids about electrical safety. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because that's something that is extremely important to them throughout their fleet, and they saw that. But there's no better way to demonstrate how important they consider it than to have the president, come to these maritime schools. They were here, and they went to the other schools as well to talk about the importance of safety training with respect to managing electricity on board a vessel. So that's what we attempt to do to keep our ear to the ground. That's why we go to the workboat show, to keep the simulator, the bridge simulator down below. I mean, though we just spent $1 million last year to put a new one in there. Right? Did I want to do it? Did I want to spend $1 million? No. Did we need to? Absolutely. And that has a ability to do DP. So we're in the process of talking with actually a graduate of our program to develop a DP. We do the theoretical book and the academic learning on top of the hill. About mid-campus is where we have a lot of the simulated opportunities, and then they go to the bottom of the hill for the practical application, either driving a boat or rebuilding engines and the like. That's really what, in direct answer to your question, we have to develop contemporary facilities, laboratories, classrooms, and the like, in order to have our students as well trained as they possibly can be for an industry that's changing very rapidly.
What are your thoughts on e-learning?
A good number of our graduates are working all over the globe in close proximity to the most sophisticated satellite communication technology available in a field which requires frequent and periodic upgrades of licenses and certifications. We should be fully engaged in e-learning, distance learning, synchronous and asynchronous learning. And not only does it enhance the opportunities for our current students, but it enhances the opportunities for our graduates to upgrade their credentials. That was the point about this, the satellite communication. It also provides Maine Maritime Academy with an opportunity to increase its earning capability. You've walked around Castine. You could see that it would be very difficult for us to expand our footprint significantly in this space, but we don't have to expand in real space. We can expand in virtual space, that's part of my goal. And in fact, the faculty within the graduate school are right now talking about how to expand that program and doing it in virtual space. We've already been working very closely with Pontifical Catholic University of Puerto Rico, which has a wonderful distance learning program, and how we can collaborate with them in different e-learning applications. In fact, I was down there for a visit with them here a while ago, and it was amazing. I went into a classroom. I went into several different classrooms where they have, so this is in Puerto Rico, having classes in Costa Rica, and then another one I think was coming from Barbados or someplace. It just, that's the reality. That's where all of these institutions are going. In fact, my view is that at some point in the future, and I don't know how far off into the future, the campus is going to be the campus, not just Maine Maritime Academy, but the academic campus is going to be completely redefined. We might have kids in the dormitory that are attending classes in front of their computer in their dorm that's being offered somewhere else in the world and getting full academic credit. Or we may have changes in our calendar so that we have students that are matriculated but are not even on campus. It's kind of like maybe even the co-op of the future, where their program requires that they are engaged online, or who knows what it's going to be called sometime in the future. When I go into these classrooms, when I'm asked to come and make a presentation, I tell them that communication is the most important thing that they're going to have to do in their career. And the further up the chop chain they go, the more communication and the less hands-on. So the Ivy League education may have gotten you into the interview, but once you get into the interview, it's what you know. It's what you're prepared to talk about. It's how you comport yourself. It's all the rest of that stuff. And so we aren't an Ivy. But we are focused on the career and preparing those graduates to be successful through the long haul.
You have been listening to Professional Mariner Conversations. To join the conversation, sign up for e-newsletters or subscribe to Professional Mariner Magazine. Visit professionalmariner.com and don't miss our licensing and training hub, which you can access directly from the homepage. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Thank you for listening. Join us next time as we bring you another timely interview from the maritime industry.